What's happening, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hopefully everybody's winding down in the real world as we approach the holidays. And we've got the fantasy semifinals kicking off tonight. Broncos-Chargers. One of the more mild games to begin a fantasy semifinal. There's, of course, some fantasy intrigue here, but it's not the fireworks that that could potentially kick off the week. Still, this game has a lot of fantasy implications for a lot of folks out there. So we'll go through it as we always do. I'll give overarching thoughts on guys in this game between the Broncos and the Chargers and where I would kind of generally have them as far as, leaning whether you start or sit these players. We'll go over the latest injury updates that we have that may help answer a start-sit question or two. But now that we do have a couple days worth of practice reports and injury updates, we can start looking at, really plugging in and stamping in the guys that'll be in your starting lineup for the semifinals. And any other questions that you may have. Chargers Broncos tonight in LA, so no weather concerns. It being Los Angeles, just as a reminder, with Thursday night football, for better or worse, I tend to always, I hate short weeks. There are certain guys where you simply have to start, and that's just how it is. There are other guys who are more on the fringe, where I tend to avoid those guys. Anybody who's typically on the flex radar or depth radar who could be a spot start for you here and there, I tend to avoid the Thursday night football games, just the short week, the lack of preparation, especially for the teams traveling on the road. So in this case, that's Denver. Cortland Sutton obviously has to be started, but that might be it, honestly. Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton for the Broncos, and honestly, that's probably it. Otherwise, I don't really want anything to do with the Broncos backfield. Yes, Jaleel McLaughlin will miss this game, so opportunities will be split/funneled to Javonte Williams and Audric Estime. This is a gross backfield, though, and a difficult one to trust in a bad matchup. I would be sitting both of those guys unless you have no other option. If you lost David Montgomery and, you're down to bare bones as your backups, then I guess you could go Javonte Williams, depending on who else is available to you. But I would rather not. Would prefer not to go that route. And Audric Estime, still very much in developmental mode, not a player that we want to start. Devon Vele, whoever starts for them, honestly, at tight end. Who is it at this point? Lucas Krull. If I'm remembering that correctly. I mean, you get the idea. These guys are not startable, especially Vele, who's been intriguing here and there throughout the season, but put up a goose egg last week in a good matchup as well. So, any confidence we had in him putting up a decent streaming performance suddenly feels less likely. Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin. Yeah, Lucas Krull is their starter. Adam Troutman. No, I mean, one of those names might put up a decent day. Good luck guessing. Who that'll be. Good luck guessing who that'll be. But Bo Nix can be started as a QB1, even though he's on the road. He'll probably have to be throwing the football in this game. It's a must-win game for both teams, and they don't do very well running the ball. So Bo Nix will be throwing it, and he'll be throwing it to Cortland Sutton. Both of those guys can be fired up for Denver. That is about it, though. For the Chargers, Ladd McConkey, very similar to Cortland Sutton. He feels like the only wide receiver on his team that feels viable to start in fantasy. Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnston, too difficult to trust these guys. Stone Smart is intriguing if you're desperate at tight end. But Ladd is really the only one you feel comfortable about here. Getting a high target share as expected, racking up a lot of catches. Has only scored one touchdown over the past month, but is getting a lot of volume. So in PPR leagues, he's perfectly safe. Even in half PPR leagues, you can feel kind of confident about him. I believe actually the touchdown was last week, now that I think about it. It was. And he should avoid Patrick Surtain because Surtain works on the boundary typically. McConkey goes inside in the slot. So that should be fine. With Justin Herbert, super flex start, one quarterback bench. This is a tough spot for him. He has kind of slowed down recently, has had some mild performances from a fantasy perspective the past few weeks. So you can probably find a better alternative in one quarterback leagues. In Superflex, I'm playing Justin Herbert. I mean, I can't imagine at this point of the season that there are, let's just say, 15 quarterbacks, 15 or 16 quarterbacks that you would rather start than Justin Herbert in Superflex where quarterbacks are obviously rostered at a significantly higher rate. So Herbert can be started in Superflex, but you can move off of him or pivot in one quarterback. I think that about covers this game as far as overarching thoughts. So start Cortland Sutton, start Ladd McConkey. You can start Bo Nix even in one quarterback, even on the road. He's been playing really well. You may not have a better option. Justin Herbert is a start in Superflex and a sit in one quarterback. Stone Smart is an intriguing tight end streamer, even though the matchup is less than ideal. Everybody else in this game is a little too difficult to trust. Let's see. Also go over injury updates, the latest injury updates that we have around the NFL that may help a couple of questions or not. I see Derek is in here, or Derek won't be around until later, but I will make sure to get his questions first. Thanks for popping in. What's going on, Crumply Heads? Your roster's good, man. I'm not worried. I'm not worried for you. Play your Chargers, especially in Superflex. You're not taking Justin Herbert out of your lineup in place or in favor of Dorian Thompson-Robinson or any of the skill position guys. Play your quarterbacks in Superflex. That's what got you here. Let's see. I got a super from Tyler. Much appreciated, Tyler. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and knock that out right now. Broncos defense tonight or Bills defense they're getting the Patriots, right? Buffalo has the Patriots. I mean, is that a home game for Buffalo? It doesn't matter. The Patriots or the Bills are going to win the game, but like it's a little bit more of it's a home game for Buffalo. So that makes me feel a little better about just say go with Buffalo. Go with the Bills, Tyler. They're playing an inferior opponent with the worst offensive line by far in the NFL. The Bills should have no issues exploiting that. This is a mismatch. Pretty much no matter where you look, the Bills are superior at damn near every position to the Patriots. You expect them to have a lead in that game. You expect them to win. You expect them to win that game. That increases the likelihood that the offense for the Patriots is making mistakes in the second half as they try to play aggressive, maybe out of their comfort zone a little bit in a catch-up effort in all likelihood. A come from behind effort because they will be trailing in this game in all likelihood, right? That's what I like to do with defenses. One, are you a good defense? Are you just a good general defense? And two, do I think you're going to win your game? If both of answers to those questions are yes, then that is a defense that I'm interested in playing, streaming, rostering, and hanging on to week after week after week, no matter what. That's the Bills. I don't know. I can't sit here and say, Thursday night football games always feel like a toss-up. The Broncos could beat the Chargers in LA. I wouldn't trust, the Chargers, but also could beat the Broncos as the home team on a short week. And then if the Chargers are the team with the lead, I don't like the Broncos as much. I feel way more confident saying that I think the Bills are going to beat the Patriots at home. They are a better team, top to bottom. Having a lead in the second half, which is something you would expect the Bills to do against the Patriots, bodes well for their defense, gives them more advantageous situations to work with. So Buffalo for sure. Buffalo for sure. And would I start Lutz tonight? Lutz goes against the Chargers tonight. He's attached to an offense that is playing well. He had a decent number last week. He kicked 4 extra points and what he hit, a 40-yard field goal. So, you'll take that. The short week on the road gives me a little bit of concern. The Chargers are a pretty good defense. He only had 5 points against them the last time these two teams met in week 6. Lutz only kicked for 5 fantasy points, 1 extra point, 1 field goal. Now, that was week 6 of Bo Nix's career, and I'll be honest, I don't recall what his performance was that particular week. Maybe it was still finding his sea legs type of week. Bo Nix didn't start going nuts right away. He continued to play better and better as the season progressed, but predictably, he didn't start the world with his hair on fire. So week 6 might have been a down week. So maybe only take that with a grain of salt that he only had 5 points against the Chargers week 6. Nevertheless, he's on the road on a short week against a pretty good defense. So I'd probably I'd prefer not to. I don't know if Chase McLaughlin is still out there or, I'm trying to think if he may already be rostered, but Tyler Bass is probably already rostered. Will Reichard is probably already rostered. Chris Boswell might be rostered. If any of those dudes are available, then I would prefer one of them. But I'd rather not play Lutz tonight. And you don't have to, if you choose not to play him, then we don't have to make this decision right away. We have until the weekend to sort out another better kicker option, but I would prefer not to play Lutz. So give me the Bills defense for sure over the Broncos, and I'd rather not play Lutz. Appreciate the super, Tyler. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support all season long. Hopefully it's been helpful advice to this point. And yeah, Crumbly Heads, you're good. You're good. Player, it's super flex. Herbert's your second best option at quarterback by far. Play your dudes. Let me see. Reichard in the rain. Is it going to rain in Chicago? Or excuse me, Seattle. What is the... I'm going to look up the weather in Seattle, Tyler, really quick. Gonzalez gets... who's Gonzalez? Am I blanking on a kicker? I'm not sure who that is. I'm looking up the Seattle weather right now. Dang, it's raining there all week. I guess that's not too surprising for Seattle, but still, it's still noteworthy when you see rain for 5, 6, 7 days straight. I'm pulling up the forecast for Seattle because rain is one thing, but if it's not too windy, then I'm not as worried about it. The wind is way more of a concern. It says it's going to be 50 degrees. Less than 10 mile per hour winds. Game's an afternoon game for them. winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. I would say Reichard, honestly. Give me the guy attached to the really good offense that's firing on all cylinders right now, Tyler. I'll take Reichard. I mean, I'm not worried about the rain because it's not, they're calling for less than 10-mile-per-hour winds. So for me, like the rain, if it's light, that might not be bad. And if it's not windy, that's the bigger concern. Wind is way more of a factor than rain. So I would pick up Reichard. The Washington kicker. Wasn't it didn't they grab like Greg Joseph or something? Oh, the Commanders signed Greg Joseph because Zane Gonzalez is missing practice for personal reasons. His wife is in labor, but also apparently so is Greg Joseph's. They both missed practice because both of their wives are having babies and they're both in labor. Okay. That's wild. I saw Greg Joseph listed in the rankings that I have for kicker, and I was like, I don't even remember seeing his name for so long. They signed him to the practice squad as a potential guy to kick in case Zay Gonzalez couldn't kick in the game, but apparently they're both missing practice for the same reason. That's nuts. Reichard against Seattle's defense or the Washington kicker against the Eagles defense that has been cooking recently. Yes, it's a home game for Washington. I don't think the Commanders, I guess, are good enough at home to move the ball into scoring position, and I guess that's the question. What is the Washington, D.C. weather supposed to be like on Sunday? Cold. Sunday, cold, 10-mile-per-hour winds, but it'll be sunny. It's either, Tyler, so I guess it kind of depends on this point of what you prefer. Do you prefer the kicker who is kicking in cold weather? It's probably going to be 30, 32 degrees, which is close to freezing, but it's at home and it'll be sunny. Or would you rather have the kicker who, he's on the road, but it'll be 50 degrees. It will be raining, but there won't be any wind on an offense that I think will have a little bit more success. I guess I'll lean the player at home. So I guess whoever kicks for Washington is the slight preference. But the Eagles defense is better than the Seahawks defense. So it's easy to see Washington's offense stalling out a little more frequently than you may expect at home, although it is a revenge game for Washington. Okay, the Washington kicker. Whether it's Gonzalez or Joseph, the Washington kicker, because they're at home. No rain or wind in either matchup. I'll take the Washington kicker. That's fine. Just keep an eye on who it actually is, because apparently Gonzalez is missing practice for personal reasons, and they signed Greg Joseph to the practice squad as a backup. So just keep tabs on who actually kicks for Washington. Appreciate the supers. Thank you so much. And let me know if you need anything else. Let's see. I have a question from Derek. Again, I don't think I quite got... I apologize. I didn't get to my spiel. Members will get first priority. That is a perk of being a member of the channel. Supers will also be line jumpers to get questions answered in priority order. And then I will get to everybody else. So appreciate everybody's patience. But I will get to everybody. We're flexing one of these names, probably Kendre Miller. It doesn't sound like Alvin Kamara is going to play. Abdullah's going to split work with Madison. Harrison Jr. has, by expectation, has been disappointing this year. Kincaid is an up and down option at tight end, and I just don't like playing a tight end in the flex if I don't have to. Bigsby, no. ETN is getting a lot of work recently. Patrick Taylor is interesting. Isaac Garendo is unlikely to play this week. He picked up an injury. So I'll go Miller. I mean, Taylor's interesting, but, I like Miller a little bit more. He has the pedigree and the draft capital. And if Kamara is out and he has the backfield to himself, even though it's not as good of an offense in New Orleans, I feel like I'm interested to see what Kendre Miller can do with some volume. I'll take Kendre Miller. I'm just looking up Patrick. I mean, San Francisco has not run the ball well without Trent Williams. They get Miami, which is actually not a bad matchup. It's a good matchup for Taylor, but I like Kendre Miller. I just think he's going to get, like, this is his opportunity. And something that he's been waiting for a while. Has dealt with some injuries. He had an IR stint just not too long ago that was kind of bogus. They fired the coach that put him in the doghouse regularly. Now he has an opportunity to be the starter and get 15 to 18 touches. I kind of like Kendre Miller. I think he's going to do all right. I think those are all the member questions that I have, as well as the supers so far. Appreciate it, Tyler. And now, I missed Derek's questions. He said he was going to be not around for the stream, so I need to check. I need to give him answers. Let's see. Henry or Strange at tight end? Henry gets Buffalo. Strange gets Vegas. I kind of like Strange. I mean, he got 12 targets last week. He caught 11 of them. I mean, we're pretty much Jacksonville's offense is down to Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange. So I'll take Strange. Henry's got a tough matchup. He's regularly involved. I just worry about how big of a mismatch this is on paper between the Patriots and the Bills. We could be looking at a blowout possibly, and then that always puts fantasy production into like the concerning territory. Strange against Vegas. This is just a bad team against a bad team, so it's anybody's guess who wins this game. I'll take Strange. 12 targets last week, 11 catches. That's the production that I want. Let's see. Full PPR, we're flexing one. Charbonnet if Walker is out. Shakir, Reed, J-Mo, McMillan. Charbonnet if Walker is out. But it sounds like they're optimistic about Kenneth Walker returning this week, if I remember seeing that correctly. Let me see. Double checking Walker's availability. He missed practice yesterday. And I believe I saw a quote from the coach that he's going to be all right. Let me see. I'm just looking up. Yeah, Walker did not practice. I swear I saw somewhere. Yeah, okay. Yesterday, head coach Mike McDonald said on Kenneth Walker's calf injury, "We're optimistic. We'll see about how many reps today, but he did walk through. We'll probably ramp it up a little bit more tomorrow. We're still waiting on practice reports for Seattle. They are notoriously late in the day. They always send in their practice reports late compared to other teams. Seattle does. We don't have their practice reports for today yet, so we'll keep an eye on that one. If Walker is back, I mean, probably Shakir against New England at home in full PPR. He's been a menace recently. He's got 7 or more targets in every game since week 7, does Khalil Shakir. I would just chase that volume. Charbonnet if Walker is out, but if Walker is back, I'll just take Shakir. He's getting the volume. 7 targets in every game since week 7. That's wild. Oh, you grabbed Kendre Miller. Not over Shakir in full PPR. Not over Shakir in full PPR. So, but he would leapfrog everybody else for me. I will say Charbonnet if Walker's out. Shakir if Charbonnet is in. If for whatever reason you want to play a running back, then I would say Kendre Miller would be next up, but I would play Shakir in full PPR. Okay. Hopefully Derek finds those questions because I answered them after everybody else's because I realized he wasn't going to be in here for a little bit. So hopefully he finds them. Apologies, Derek. But I got you. I got you. Hopefully with the helpful information. Hopefully helpful anyway. What's going on, Jake? 6-point passing touchdowns. You're between Knicks and Jordan Love. So Knicks goes tonight against the Chargers. Love goes against New Orleans on Monday night. It's a pretty damn good matchup for Jordan Love. And both are playing pretty well. Love over his past 5 games. I'm just going to look at like recent performances. QB 12, QB 16, QB 15, QB 16, QB 11. So he's been a mid-range. He's been like a high-end QB 2. Love has the past month, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. He's been a high-end QB 2 basically the past month of the season. Knicks, QB 14, bye week 14, QB 26, QB 7, QB 3. So his ceiling has been higher, but his floor has been lower. If it's 50-50, I would probably play Love, Jake. I would probably play Love. I think he's the safe play. At home, prime time, Monday night, no short week to worry about. Saints are an inferior opponent. He should be able to put up a couple of scores. I'll say Love. That's the safe play. If it's 50-50, I'll take Jordan Love. No short week. Yeah. At home, prime time, I'll take Love. I'll take Love. But best of luck. And best of luck, of course, to everybody in their playoff matchups. They start tonight. I don't have any other member questions at the moment. I will jump down if I see any others. Let me start at the top or the top of the non-member questions. Bengals or Falcons defense? The Falcons. They get they get the Giants. They get the Giants, and like honestly, that's it. The only other defense I would probably put over them right now is the Packers, because the Packers are going to play Spencer Rattler, and they have a better defense than the Falcons do. But the Falcons get a ridiculous matchup against. Is it Tommy Cutlets? Is it Tim Boyle? Are they going to pull a fan out of the stands to play quarterback for the Giants? Like, it's an abysmal mess. The Falcons may have a little bit of life this weekend, or a little bit of rejuvenation with Michael Penix getting named as the starter. It almost doesn't matter how he performs. It's just Kirk Cousins has been that bad. So this may give the team a spark, regardless of how Penix does. So I'll take the Falcons over the Bengals. It's a good matchup for the Bengals. It's just I don't know. They haven't been good at all this year. The Atlanta hasn't been great on defense. Cincinnati has been worse. So I'll take Atlanta against whoever the hell is going to be the quarterback. If it's Drew Lock, like, don't care. I'll take Atlanta, but I would take Green Bay over pretty much anybody other than the defenses that you're typically starting week over week. Like the Vikings, if you don't have them, or the Steelers, if you don't have them, I would say the Packers 1 and then the Falcons 2. The Bengals would be up there if you miss out on both of them, but if I would rather play the Falcons or the Packers over the Bengals. Going against the 1 seed. This is what it's all about, right? This shock in the world. That's what it's all about. Would I trust Najee Harris or Patrick Taylor? There's a lot of options on the waiver wire. Najee gets the Ravens in Baltimore, so I don't feel great about that at all. Patrick Taylor is interesting, but I think I prefer. I think I prefer. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson being on the. I almost said Kendre Miller, but Ramondre Stevenson being on the waiver wire seems incorrect. I don't think Ramondre Stevenson should be on the waiver wire. What did he do last week against Arizona? 13 times, 69 yards. He only had 1 catch, but it was for 16 yards. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson is going to get 15 opportunities. I would pick him up and play him. I would pick up and play Ramondre. He's the most proven guy here. I guess you can argue Najee is a little more proven, but Ramondre is the next best player of this group, and he's locked into his role. I'll say pick up and play Ramondre. I'll pick up and play Ramondre. Yes, it's a division game, but they'll be trailing. The Patriots will be trailing, which means they should if they're on offense, they'll run the ball with Ramondre. If they're on offense and they're trailing, then they'll throw the ball to Ramondre. So I would play Ramondre. I would pick up and play Ramondre. Let's see. Good evening. I'm not playing Hollywood Brown this week. No. Not in his Not in his first game back. He has missed the entire season to this point. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays like 40% of the snaps in a ramp-up effort. No, I'm not playing Hollywood Brown. He hasn't played. No. I would play anybody else. I would play the most random dart throws that you can think of over him. I would play Demarcus Robinson. I would play Van Jefferson against the Ravens suspect defense. Not that I'm expecting anything. I'd play, pick any random streaming tight end. Isaiah Davis, Audric Estime is going to get opportunities tonight. Nick Westbrook-Akine, I'll take a shot on a touchdown. Like, no to Hollywood Brown. No. Start 1, Judy, who unfortunately his value sees a major hit with the team going from Jameis Winston to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DK Metcalf, or Khalil Shakir. If it's full PPR, Shakir. If it's half PPR, probably still Shakir, to be honest. Metcalf, I don't think is 100% healthy. He hasn't been playing well lately. He's been struggling a little bit. I think an injury that he recently had a couple of weeks ago is still bothering him. And Jackson Smith-Njigba is now that team's wide receiver one. I don't think Metcalf is that team's wide receiver one anymore. It looks like it's JSN. I'll take Shakir. He has seen 7 targets in every game, at least 7 targets in every game since week 7. That is feasting. And whoever's in and out of the lineup for Buffalo hasn't changed that because it has happened with their full arsenal available to them. He still gets 7-8 targets a game. Shakir. It would be Judy. I don't trust Dorian Thompson-Robinson. His yards per pass attempt last year was historically low. He's looking like a check down god and a difficult guy to trust to prop up anybody on the Browns offense. We're picking 2 quarterbacks between Nix, Tua, and Purdy. Tua gets San Francisco. I believe that's a home game for the Dolphins. I keep forgetting. Is that a home game for the Dolphins? It is. It's a home game for the Dolphins. So Purdy's on the road. Tough matchup by the numbers. And a difficult guy to trust after what we saw in a beatable matchup last week against the Rams. Next to a Purdy. Nix has been the best performer of these guys. He's got a floor of about 12 to 13 points, but he does have 28, 29 point potential, although this is a tougher matchup by the numbers. Tua's been pretty good in some very favorable matchups. He had a really bad performance against Houston this past week. But to that point, he had been playing really well. Tua had been. Purdy's been very up and down. He's been very up and down, especially since the 49ers got hit with a slew of injuries. Nix and Tua. Nix and Tua. Purdy, they're now down to their 4th running back. Their offensive line is still a mess. Deebo Samuel is washed. Jawan Jennings and George Kittle are good players, but the offense is so dysfunctional right now. I don't know if they're good enough to consistently continue to elevate that offense. And by the numbers, it's not a great matchup. Nix has been pretty damn good this year, especially over the past 2 months. And Tua, outside of a stinker last week, has been very solid for a month straight. And at least this is a home game against a beatable 49ers defense that doesn't look the same. I would probably say Nix and Tua. If Waddle doesn't play, then I guess I would put Purdy over Tua. That's right. Waddle missed practice. It has missed practice for 2 straight days. If Waddle's able to practice tomorrow and puts himself on track to play, then Tua. If Waddle misses and you would rather go with Purdy, that's fine. That's fine. But I would play Nix tonight. Is Laddie going to be a daddy tonight? I think so. What's going on, Sam? I think so. He's racking up a ton of targets. He's got a ridiculous target share. He's got 34 targets over the past 4 games. That's over 9 a game. He may not He doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, but he's not going to see Patrick Surtain tonight. Surtain lines up on the boundary. McConkey typically lines up inside in the slot. So, yeah, I mean, he should be fine tonight. He should be fine. The Chargers are throwing the ball a ton because they can't run it. Since J.K. Dobbins went down, their running game has gone into the complete toilet. Yeah. I think Ladd's going to be fine tonight. He's a wide receiver too, like he has been for at least a month now. Yeah, he's going to be solid. Yeah. Feel good about Ladd's chances tonight. Should catch a lot of passes in a must-win game for the Chargers. I got Jake's question. I don't see any other member questions yet. We're going to keep it moving. Need 2 out of 4. Jerome Ford, Terry McLaurin, Breece Hall, Jawan Jennings. McLaurin is a slam dunk. He's the wide receiver 5 on the season. Terry McLaurin is a must-start player. I know he didn't do well against the Eagles the last time these two teams played, but it was a short week on the road for Washington. At the very least, it is a home game with normal rest, like a week's worth of time of rest and preparation and all that stuff for Washington. It is a difficult matchup, but Terry has been unbelievable this year. You have to go back to him. You have to. At home, you got to go back to him. Between Jerome Ford, Breece Hall, and Jennings, I mean, Ford gets a great matchup against Cincinnati, but I don't know how well we can trust the Browns' offense. Breece is a flex play at this point. He's dealing with the knee injury. Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis continued to get opportunities last week. Breece is a difficult guy to trust. Jennings, he's going to probably see Jalen Ramsey. In standard scoring, I'll take the running back. I'll take Jerome Ford. Give me Jerome Ford and give me Terry McLaurin. Jennings would be a little bit more interesting if it was PPR. But because it's standard scoring and he's going to get Jalen Ramsey this week, I don't feel as confident about him. So give me Jerome Ford and give me Terry McLaurin because Terry McLaurin has been a high-end wide receiver 1 this year. Yep. Give me Ford. Give me Terry. Full PPR, DJ Moore, Bucky Irving, Brian Robinson, Jalen McMillan. Well, quarterback, you gotta. We're talking about 2 of the better performers at quarterback this year between Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield. Baker is the safe play. If it's like a 50-50 split, if it's an even matchup, Baker's the safe play. Jaden Daniels is the aggressive play. He is the guy that I would rather start. If he didn't have to play the Eagles, Jaden Daniels would be my clear-cut answer to this question, despite Baker being incredible all season long. I will say if you want to play it safe, Baker. Jaden Daniels is a little more concerning against a really good Eagles defense, but also Jaden Daniels has been stellar this year and is the ceiling play. I would definitely be grappling with this decision if it were mine. So it's definitely not an easy one to make. I'd probably say go Daniels. Baker's been amazing this year and should be incredibly safe. Daniels is the X factor. His floor is probably lower against the tough Eagles defense, but he is at home. He's been electric. He will run at a ridiculously high and effective and efficient rate. I would probably go Daniels. If you're a huge favorite, like you're a huge favorite and it's just, your team just kind of needs to show up and you feel like you'll feel good about your chances and you just want to take the safe route and play Baker, that's fine. But while his floor might be lower because of the matchup, he's at home and Jaden Daniels has been amazing this year. That's probably where I would go, but it is a difficult call. As far as more Bucky, Brian Robinson, Jalen McMillan, I don't think I want to play Brian Robinson. I don't think I want to play Brian Robinson against the Eagles, but he will get opportunities. He will get work with no Austin Eckler. He also claimed that Washington was a better team than the Eagles this week. So it's on him to back up his words. So, maybe you ride that confidence. Bucky and DJ Moore are both interesting. They're both interesting to play. I would probably eliminate McMillan from this group because while he's been viable, he's a little bit more on the flex radar. Bucky gets a great matchup against Dallas. That's tough. Give me Bucky. Give me Bucky, and I'll take DJ Moore. He's been a pretty good wide receiver. He's been a pretty good wide receiver for fantasy of late, and in full PPR, that makes him a little bit more viable. I want to play Brian Robinson, but it's a tough matchup, and it's a numbers crunch at this point. But I'll take the first two. Give me DJ Moore. Give me Bucky Irving. Full PPR, 6-point passing touchdowns. Higgins or Brian Thomas. Higgins gets the Browns. Brian Thomas gets the Raiders. Both have been awesome. I'll take Higgins. He's been a wide receiver one when him and Jamar Chase are both playing. They're both wide receiver ones. Jamar Chase is the wide receiver one. Higgins is like a top 12 wide receiver. They're down to like a 5% chance to make the playoffs. So they're going to lean on what works for them, which is to throw the ball and throw the ball a lot, score a lot of points on offense because their defense can't be trusted. I'll take Higgins. Tracy against the Falcons or Kendre Miller against the Packers. I guess I would say Kendre Miller because I know he'll have the backfield to himself. Tracy will split opportunities in all likelihood with Devin Singletary. Singletary got the touchdown last week. So Tracy's more on the flex radar. I do think Miller is on the RB2 radar, not strong RB2, more like low-end RB2, but I think he can come through with 15 to 18 points. So I'll take Kendre Miller. Kyler or Anthony Richardson? I guess Kyler because he's I was going to say because he's playing Carolina. I'll play Kyler. It's a great matchup against Carolina. Maybe Kyler runs a little bit more with their season kind of like hanging in the balance. Like, will they make the playoffs or will they not? Maybe Murray will scramble a little bit more. I'll take Kyler. And then, if you can only play one between Kelsey and Laporta, Man, I guess Kelsey. I guess I'll play Kelsey. He's at home. I think the Lions are on the road in Chicago, so yeah, I'll take Kelsey at home. And Mahomes is going to play. No issues with his availability. Yeah. Give me Higgins, give me Kendre Miller, give me Kyler, and give me Kelsey. And your team is okay. If your team is loaded, then maybe just play it safe and play Baker. Jane Daniels is awesome. It is a tougher matchup against the Eagles. Baker has a much easier matchup against the Cowboys, who are banged up on defense and obviously, playing for next year. You could play Baker if you want to. If you think you're a strong favorite, if you feel good about your chances, then you can play Baker. What's going on, Greg? And I got this question. Yeah, you can play Tua if Waddle plays, but if Waddle's out, then you can switch to Purdy. But it is a tough matchup by the numbers. Miami's got a pretty good pass defense. So that's all. Let's see. Greg, what you got? You have Pittsburgh and you have the Jets. Pitt gets the Ravens on the road. I don't much like any of those other options. TJ Watt will play for Pittsburgh, so that certainly helps the Steelers defense. You could play the Ravens, Greg. I mean, they're playing Pittsburgh, and the Steelers' offense is, the Steelers' offense is not that scary without George Pickens if you have a good run defense, which the Ravens do. The Ravens can stop the run, so they can key on Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, and then the Steelers do not have much working for them other than George Pickens at wide receiver. So, Pittsburgh's probably not going to be able to do as good of a job exploiting the Ravens' weakness, which is their secondary, as well as other teams, because they don't have competent weapons in the passing game without George Pickens. I mean, Pat Freiermuth is a good tight end, and he'll get his, but they're at home, the Ravens. It's a revenge game, right, for Baltimore? So they're going to come in fired up to play and beat their division rival. And they do still have, I think, an outside chance at the division. So they're going to come in fired up and wanting to handle their business. I would play Baltimore at home. I would play Baltimore at home against Pittsburgh without George Pickens. They have a good run defense, and their weak secondary is not going to be as well exploited by the Steelers' receivers outside of Pickens. Like, nobody's, at this point, Mike Williams, Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, whoever the hell else they have, like Roman Wilson, who is an unproven rookie. I don't even know if he's playing at this point. Like, this is not that's not a group of wide receivers that strikes fear into opposing secondaries. I would play Baltimore. And you can drop the Jets because I believe they play the Bills week 17. So no thanks. You can drop the Jets and pick up the Ravens. That's what I would do. Yeah. Give me Baltimore. No, I'm not. I love Brian Thomas. He's awesome. He is so good. I can't play him. I know Kyler has been disappointing. I know. I gotta play the quarterback in Superflex. I gotta, especially in a good matchup. The Carolina defense is awful, has been awful all year. That ain't changing. Not at this point in the season, anyway. I'll take Kyler. You gotta play the quarterback in Superflex. You just have to. You just have to. All right, that is it for questions so far. If anybody needs anything else, obviously we've still got an hour till kickoff. This stream is moving right along a little faster than others, mostly because obviously now that we're in the playoffs, there are fewer folks that are paying attention. But yeah, if anybody needs anything else ahead into this game, let me know. A couple of things, just some what's the term I'm trying to think of? Just some agenda items, I guess, so to speak, for everybody. I typically stream on Saturdays. Obviously, there's going to be games going on this Saturday with Chiefs Texans kicking off at 1 p.m. East, Ravens Steelers at 4:30 East. I am usually streaming around that time, so we'll probably stream tomorrow night. Friday night will be start sit help this week instead of a Saturday afternoon stream because there are games on Saturday. So Friday night, probably around the same time, maybe say 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll have a stream tomorrow, and we can go over start sit help for the weekend, since there are games on both Saturday and Sunday this week. I could also do it. I guess I could also do it Saturday morning. But the other thing that's happening during Saturday morning is the college football playoff. I don't know if anybody cares to watch that, but that will be going on as well. Well, I guess it's going to be going on Friday night too. All right. Well, either way. All right. So either Friday night or Saturday morning, I'll pop in for some start sit help. I'll sort out whatever works best, and I'll continue to do. I can do a Sunday morning stream as well, leading up to kickoff for Week 16. If you missed my stream on Tuesday, just as an FYI, this will be my last week of live streams for the 2024 season. I will be traveling for the holidays next week, and the timing, unfortunately, does not make it conducive to the streaming, to hosting live streams. So this will be the final week of streams for the 2024 redraft season. I'll set up a community post on the website, on the channel. I'll also send a notification in the Discord, if you're a part of the Discord, that I will not be streaming next week. And if you need me, you can leave your questions in the form of comments, either on the community post or on any recent streams, and I'll try to get to them, or I will be able to get to them as I'm available. So that's just as an FYI for everybody for the rest of the season. So with that said, I'll be back this weekend. You'll get me for a couple more times before I wrap things up and travel for the holidays. But it's been fun. It's been a good year. I appreciate everybody's time and support and energy. I wouldn't do this if I didn't have folks that thought enough to come in and talk shop and ask for fantasy football advice. So I appreciate you guys over the course of the season. Hopefully it's been fun. Hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully it's been informative one way or another. I can't imagine I got every single call for you correct, but I hope I got more right than wrong. And you know, hopefully we bring home some hardware as a result if we're still in the playoffs. So appreciate everybody over the course of the season. I think that does it. I will be again. I'll have some live time this weekend. We'll figure it out with the games being on Saturday. It presents a little bit of an interesting wrinkle for setting up start sit streams, but I'll make sure to have them over the course of the weekend, and I will definitely be going live on Sunday, probably around 11 a.m. Eastern, around the same time. For the final live stream of the 2024 season. And then I will be back at some point in 2025. We'll start pumping out that Dynasty content for those of you who like to who play in Dynasty leagues, and or maybe you just like checking in on rookie profiles. We'll make sure that we have those starting in the pre-draft process sometime in 2025. If nobody needs anything else, I guess that'll do it for me this evening. Appreciate everybody's time. If you miss me tonight, if you need anything, hit me with a question in the form of a comment on this live stream, or you can hit me in Discord, and I'll be sure to get to it with about an hour to go before kickoff. Let's see. Ford or Keenan Allen at the flex. What's the scoring? Ford is on the flex radar. Keenan Allen probably is as well. But he has been picking up a lot of targets recently, Keenan Allen has. And it's a decent matchup by the numbers. Actually, I think my answer is just Allen. Especially if it's half or full PPR, give me Keenan Allen. He's been rock solid over the past month or so, maybe about 6 weeks. Found the end zone again last week for the third time in 4 games. Gets a beatable Lions secondary, a very banged up Lions defense. I'll take Keenan Allen. Ford is playing with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and I don't know how effective that offense is going to be. So I'll take Keenan Allen, especially in full PPR. Can you trust Will Lutz tonight? I got a question about this earlier. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. This is we're potentially looking at not a lot of points scored this evening. These are 2 good defenses. It's a short week. And Lutz is on the road. Now that could mean that the Broncos settle for points a little bit more frequently than average, if they were at home. But this is a tough matchup. These teams played each other in week 6. Will Lutz had 5 points. Now that could have been. This is a different game. Bo Nix has 2 more months of NFL experience under his belt and is playing much better since then. So that the offense could do well, but still, it's a tough spot on the road on a short week. I'd rather not play Lutz. I'd rather not play Lutz. I would play the Washington kicker. I don't know if it's going to be Gonzalez or Greg Joseph. They signed Greg Joseph to the practice squad in case Gonzalez couldn't kick this week. I don't know if Chase McLaughlin or Chris Boswell or Will Reichert are available, but I would take any of them over Will Lutz. He's a tough sell tonight. Didn't do well in the last matchup against the Chargers earlier in the season, and it's a short week on the road. I get the appeal from the perspective that more field goals on average are kicked on Thursday nights than on Sundays. So Lutz could kind of backdoor this situation and wind up with 8 to 10 points. I just like finding guys that play on Sunday and they have a full week of rest. They have a full week of preparation. Not that kickers need a lot of rest, but the rest of the team does. The rest of the team around them does. So I'd rather not. Would I roll with Hawkinson, Greg, over Strange? I kind of like Strange in this matchup against the Raiders. One, I mean, he got 12 targets. He got 12 targets last week, and he caught 11 of them. Him and Brian Thomas are all that's left of this offense. I may play Strange over Hawkinson. Against the Raiders. Yeah. I'll take Strange over Hawkinson. It's close, but I think that's where I'm at. Yeah, Strange over Hawkinson. That's where I'm at. I know that sounds crazy, but that's where I'm at. Okay. I think that might about do it for this evening. Again, you can hit me with a question in the form of a comment on this stream if you just missed me. You can also hit me in Discord. I'll be keeping tabs on that as well. But I think that does it. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out tonight. Best of luck. If this game has any indication or implication on your matchup, hopefully it goes your way. Best of luck. Obviously, we've got the full slate still to come on Saturday and Sunday, so lots of football to be played. I'll find some time to stream either Friday night or Saturday morning. I'll sort that out. Friday night might be best, but we'll have to see. And then I'll definitely be live Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, for any final thoughts going into the full Sunday slate. Hey, what's going on, E111? You got in just in time. London or Neighbors in Standard? They play each other, right? The Falcons and the Giants play each other. I mean, we'll see how Penix does. He can't be that much worse than Kirk Cousins, but also he is a rookie making his first career start, getting his first career game action. So while this is a good matchup for him to make his debut, we don't know what we're getting from him. Neighbors, I guess. I know that it's Drew Lock versus Michael Penix. So by nature of the beast, we expect Michael Penix to be better. But it is his first career start. So it's possible that we see some hiccups and maybe slow out of the gate for him. So I guess at least with Neighbors, Drew Lock has some game experience. It's not, not that he's good, but at least he's got some actual game action under his belt. I guess I'll take Neighbors. London feels like he should be fine just because Kirk Cousins he's been playing well with Kirk Cousins playing poorly, so it can't be that much worse with Penix, but it is his first career start. So I don't know if we can necessarily expect an incredible performance. Or even a good performance. I don't know if we're going to get that. I'll take Neighbors. I'll take Neighbors over London. It's close. Yeah. For the flex. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with Neighbors. He should come through with some volume. London, I just don't know how effective his volume will be. I don't know just don't know how Penix will be in his first career start. It's a good spot for him, but we have no idea what we're going to get from a first career start. I'll take Neighbors. Yeah, and you got to play Tyreek and Brian Thomas. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll take Neighbors. I'll take Neighbors, and obviously, either one of these guys are viable, but I'll take the dude who at least is, his quarterback isn't making his first career start. So if Penix had 6 games under his belt and was looking at least semi-competent, I would say London. But first career start, I'll play Neighbors. Yeah. Yeah, I would not play Judy. I would not play Judy. Nah. Not without Jameis. Unfortunately, Judy's fantasy appeal may have just dried up. I don't trust Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Mm-mm. Nah, don't trust him. Okay. More questions later. Okay. Yeah, I'm around. I'm either going to be live either tomorrow night or Saturday morning. I haven't quite sorted that out yet. And I'll be live Sunday. Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, ahead of the full slate. So I'll be around for the rest of the week. And then, of course, you could also just hit me again. Anybody, you're always free to just, fire off a question in the form of a comment on the stream or any other videos, and I'll get a notification. I'll be sure to see it. But if everybody's good for now, then I guess I will shut this down with about an hour to go before kickoff. And I'll just keep tabs on any questions that roll in late, and I'll be sure to get to them. But appreciate everybody coming in. Derek, Crumply Heads, my members, appreciate you guys. Jake, Greg, E111, thank you all. Appreciate you guys and the support. Thank you, Tyler, for the supers. Very generous of you. Much appreciated. And everybody else for popping in. Thanks for taking some time tonight. Best of luck in your playoff matchups. And I will see you guys closer to the weekend prior to kickoff. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Good luck.